Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're finally going to be doing a Shelby Snail endings video. It's been, I don't even know how long. Oh my goodness, it's been 2 weeks since I recorded Shelby's last video. I mean, Christmas and my birthday and New Year's, so yeah, I can see that, I guess. Anyway, I did record the sweet and spicy ending on accident in the last video and I cut it out. So that's going to be included in this video first. So if the video seems kind of like out of sync because of my reactions or whatever, just know that it was already recorded. So, and then after that's done playing, then I'm going to go into the recording that I'm doing right now, which is going to be the other endings. It starts with sweet end, spicy end, and then a bad spicy end. There's a bad spicy end. So should we do the bad spicy end first? Probably. Let's do that first because I don't want to end on a bad note. And I think the spicy end is going to be insane. That's just my opinion. This is Shelby. I mean, I really don't know what to expect. Anyway.
Cupid Parasite, sweet and spicy darling.
Shelby's bonus episodes unlocked. Oh yeah, and then I gotta do that too. I totally forgot there's bonus episodes. Extra comments been added. Okay. Alright, sweet and spicy end. Can't be done on daily life. Several days after winning the gamble with Eli Omar.
では、これからもよろしくお願いいたします。
ええ、スネイル社長の寛大な処置に感謝しております。
But look who has been subjugated. Mr. Omar and Shelby shook hands. Much had happened since then. Using the mass media coverage of the gamble's outcome, Shelby secured the beneficial business partnership with Mr. Omar. Oh. Between them? Oh, partnership. Oh, okay. So did he play nice and not take the island? Instead of pursuing the short-term benefits of owning the island, he delegated operations to Omar Holdings while planning for future profits. Shelby lacked the expertise to run amusement facilities like Demore Paradis. He retained ownership of a significant amount of the company's stock and left the operations to them. But Shelby didn't stop at a simple business partnership. Cupid Corp number 2. The partnership allowed a strategic acquisition of Homard Wedding. It allowed him to establish the second branch of Cupid Corp on the island and staff it with Homard Wedding employees. Wait, that's not the second. Oh, yeah, second branch. Okay. I'm like, he's got the first branch. The Allen shop. It was a business partnership where Shelby held the advantage. Everything proceeded smoothly, even though Omar seemed to have significantly mellowed out. He was like a lion that had lost its fangs.
では、拡張計画は中止ということで、海も元通りにしてもらおう。
Yeah, maybe not subjugated. Tamed is the word I was looking for. Like he's been tamed now.
かしこまりました。では、私はこれで。失礼いたします。
Talking all polite now instead of smug. Mr. Omar bowed respectfully to Shelby before exiting. After watching him leave, I approached Shelby. Are you sure about this? I think you do well running the island.
さすがに買いかぶりすぎだ。私がこの島を持ったところで、これほどの運営はできない。
I know one person can only do so much.
フランス老舗企業のオマールホールディングスの後ろ盾を失うのは大きな損失だ。だからあくまで経営はイーライ氏のままの方が我が社のためにもなると思ってな。それに妻との時間も必要だろう。
Besides, I need to spend time with you. That's funny. If he had to run to Demore Paradis as well, he wouldn't have much time left for me.
お前と一緒に身の丈に合った形でこれから生きていきたい。そのための決断だ。
Oh, he's all grown up now. He knows when to let go. I see.
それに元はといえば買収を退け埋め立て計画を阻止するために 彼に提案書を持って行っただけだ。脅威が去り、この手で我が社を守れるならば私はそれでいい。お前の懸念をなくす方が重要だ。埋め立ての計画がなくなればひとまずは大丈夫なのだろう。
Shelby smiled gently. I could tell that he stopped the land reclamation out of concern for me. He still didn't fully believe in gods or divine powers, but yet he worked to stop the plan. It wasn't to avoid divine wrath, but because he knew I was nervous about my parents' temples being buried. He fought on my behalf. Yes, I think it'll be fine now. I don't think Dad will unleash his wrath anymore. Thank you, Shelby.
ならよかった。
How can he not believe in gods and divine powers, but yet still worry about God's temples? Like, this doesn't make any sense. It's either one or the other. Either you believe or you don't. Seeing his genuine relief, I felt such joy that I impulsively hugged him.
こら、リネット。
But you have no room to talk, man. Like, you'll attack her in a car. Like, come on. Thanks, Shelby. I'm so happy right now.
そうか。そこまで喜んでもらえるならばよかった。
Shelby blushed and looked away bashfully. He was perfect in SS, yet could be so bashful. My Shelby hasn't changed since we met. I was sure things would be fine for Shelby and me. No matter what happened, I believed we shared a strong bond of trust. A few nights later, we stood on the Cape of Paradis, confirming that the land reclamation construction site was indeed gone. The seas were back to their usual calm. We really had stopped the expansion project.
よかった。本当に阻止できたようだな。
Yeah.
これでオイスターも無事に育つといいんだが。
All to the oysters. But they did do some land reclamation, so it's likely Mom's temple was destroyed. The Venus temple was somewhere in the ocean. The thought of it lying in ruins made me sad.
いや、愛するヴィーナスの神殿が壊れたままというのはこのマーズが許さん。
Oh my goodness, that scared me. Dad appeared in the sky and interrupted our conversation. This was my dad, alright, the god of war, Mars. He split the clouds and descended with a divine aura. Shelby was at a loss for words. In Dad's hand was his axe. Uh-oh. He parted the seas like Moses did and instantly repaired Mon temple. He could do that. Moreover, he raised the temple from beneath the sea to the surface. He could do that. Why didn't he do that from the beginning? A few seconds later, Mom's temple stood with the heavenly radiance at the tip of the cape alongside Dad's temple. Why didn't you just do this from the beginning? Oh my goodness.
これはなんだ
Can you imagine though? Like, that would be such a cute picture spot now for all kinds of stuff.
これぞ神の奇跡、軍神マーズの力だ。そこの人間よ、よくぞ埋め立て計画を阻止し、我が愛するヴィーナスの神殿とマーズ神殿を守った。褒めてやるとしよう。
He called him human.
いえ
That was a really funny response. I was expecting EA, but but he's like, Shelby stammered, unable to process the events unfolding before him. His brain seemed to overload with the sight from Dad alone, but then... There she is. Now Mom also descended and hugged Dad while he continued levitating in midair. Aw, she's in her actual outfit, her Venus outfit. Shelby's inability to process information was entirely overwhelmed.
プロジェクションマッピングではないか。投影オブジェクトがないし。
Gods can fly. Wait, I thought they had wings. That would make it more sense, right? Yeah, whatever.
もしや LED ライトがついたドローンで表現しているとか。いや、そんなわけないか。
Stop trying to rationalize it.
まさか。
Yes, those are their true god forms. Now, that's how Mom and Dad usually look. Mars hasn't changed though. He doesn't change into anything.
日常的に空に浮き、海を割り、神殿を直して海底を隆起させて地面を作るのか。
Yes, they're gods.
本当に神はいたのか。
あら、もしかしてまだ信じられていなかったのかしら。
うん？そうなのか？ならばなぜこの埋め立て計画を阻止した？我々のためだろう？
あ？ええ、そうと言いますか。彼女が心配していたので、そのために。
It's really cute hearing him talk, unformally, I guess, is for lack of a better term, casually.
エロースのためなの？愛の力ってわけね。
なるほど。我ら神のことは信じていなかったが、愛する妻を信じて行動をしたというわけか。なかなか小気味良い男ではないか。このマーズ、気に入ったぞ。
Why do you have to state it like that? While saying that in a grandiose manner, Mom and Dad descended to the cape. Now what? They looked at Shelby and laughed.
では、神殿の埋め立てを阻止した褒美に何でも願いを叶えてやろう。
願いですか。
この軍神マーズに叶えられる願いであれば、いくらでも聞いてやるぞ。
Dad puffed out his chest proudly. Shelby thought for a while, then responded with a shy smile.
では、娘さんを私にください。
That was adorable. Huh?
あ
What?
なんだと？
ら、でも結婚してるじゃない。今さら驚くことかしら。
はあ、そうであったな。いや、しかしならばなぜ今さらそんなことを？
実は彼女のご両親であるお二人にご挨拶ができていなかったことをずっと気にしていたんです。彼女は気にしなくていいと言っていましたが、やはりきちんとご両親にも認めていただきたくて。彼女のことは幸せにします。お父さん、娘さんとの結婚を改めて認めてください。
Shelby, you were already married, and Dad had even been at our wedding ceremony. Yet Shelby seemed determined to do things formally, and his solemn expression nearly moved Dad to tears.
もちろんだ。
This is cute.
お前ほど立派な人間はいないだろう。娘を頼んだぞ。
Aw.
はい。
Dad and Shelby shook hands, their faces glowing with joy. That was so cute. A short while after that heartfelt exchange between Dad and Shelby,
シェルビー社長、改めてよろしくお願いいたします。
ああ、よろしく、応援。
Owen was finally back at Cupid Corp. He discovered Mr. Omar's intentions to cheat during the bet and tried to alert Shelby. At the same time, I had been yearning to get back to working in my previous role rather than as his secretary. We both urged Owen to return as the president's secretary. He hesitated for a while, but finally decided to come back to Cupid Corp. Owen declared his intention to atone for his past mistakes through his work and reassumed his role as secretary. Happily ever after. And so, yes, I'm finally back in my old role. As much fun as working for the president could be, I couldn't imagine, like, being your husband's secretary day in and day out. That might get a little tiresome. Freed from my duties as secretary, I returned to my formal position as a bridal advisor. This was the job I had longed to do again. It allowed me to be a Cupid in the human realm.
おかえり。あなたも変わった人ね。給料のいい社長秘書を蹴ってこっちに戻ってきたんだって。
Yes, because I love this job the most. Job satisfaction was more important to me than salary. After all, you only live once, so it's best doing something you love.
あなたのその気持ち、私もわかるわ。CC の仕事楽しいもの。
確かに。オマールの方に行った子たちも結局こっちの方がいいって戻ってきたものね。
あ、でもうちと業務提携するって話になったんでしょ。あっちに出張するのは楽しそうじゃない？
確かに。翌日休み入れておけば仕事帰りに遊べるし、出張入れてもらえるようにお願いしてみようかな。
Employees seemed thrilled about the new branch of Cupid Corp. It was a huge boost for morale. This evolved version of Cupid Corp was meeting both the needs of bridal advisors and the demands of Lost Yorkers. I could sense a unique happiness here. Everyone can't stop talking about how great the new location is. A few days later, Shelby and I took a vacation at Demore Paradis where I told him about the employees' excitement about the new branch.
そうか。現場との考えがずれていないならばよかった。だが、不満が出たらすぐに教えてくれ。必ず解消はしたいからな。
Yes. We sat side by side on the beach overlooking the sea. The rejuvenated temples of my parents had become popular attractions at Demore Paradis. Shelby had suggested the idea to Mr. Omar, leading to the creation of a new tourist spot. The underwater tunnel my mother had wished for was built, linking the visitors to the Venus Temple and the Mars Temple. Thanks to those developments, a wave of tourists now visited the two temples. What was once unique to Greece now had a home in Lost York as well. My parents were delighted by this and even asked if we had any wishes for them to fulfill. My father, who had grown fond of Shelby for halting the development project and establishing a new tourist spot, was surprisingly pleased. Who would have thought that Dad would end up liking Shelby so much? I know, right? Because this all started with him not thinking that humans can't do anything for themselves. He was often overbearing, and we'd had our fair share of clashes. At our wedding, his tears made me unsure of what he thought about Shelby.
どうした？
Why are you blushing when you say that? Shelby blushed a bit as he caught me staring at him with a smile. Okay, well that would make me blush, I guess. Nothing, I was just thinking about how well things turned out.
そうか。それより聞いておきたいんだが、今の生活に不満はないか？
You're embarrassed about the silliest things, but then when I think about the first game, he was embarrassed a lot then too. He's just a naturally bashful character, I guess. Absolutely, I couldn't be happier. I'm with the man I love, doing the job I always dreamed of. What else could I ask for?
そうか。ならよかった。
Debbie smiled, then leaned over to me. Shared a quiet kiss as the setting sun bathed us in its warm red glow. I hope this isn't the end. I'm expecting an ending theme, right? I want to use this, but I've already used a lot of romantic scenes, so it's probably gonna be the casino one still. I don't know. Kissing her one-handedly. I forget to read that. No, I think I read that. Wow. My heart started racing from the sensation of our lips touching. Despite the countless kisses since our marriage, for some reason, this one made my heart pound.
なんだか照れるな。
Right. And we seemed to share the same sentiment. We both blushed and leaned in for another kiss. The spot where our lips met felt like a tingling sensation spreading a sweet paralysis throughout my body. Perhaps our hearts raced because we finally felt like a proper married couple. We had our share of disagreements. There were days when we couldn't see each other, leading to misunderstandings. I had been angry, unable to understand Shelby's perspective, and felt lonely enough to cry. But together we overcame those hardships and found happiness. Mom was right. Even with misunderstandings, as long as love exists, things work out. I was sure that we would have more fights and misunderstandings in the future. No matter how tough things may get, I believe that Shelby and I could overcome anything together, so it would be okay.
リネット。
Shelby. We looked into each other's eyes as we said each other's names.
お前と結婚できて本当に幸せだ。
Me too.
愛している。好きだ。リネット。
I love you too, Shelby.
ああ。
This could be a contest. Why do you say me too? Our smiles were as bright as the most precious treasure as we kissed again against the backdrop of the setting sun. Its golden glow painted the water's surface, and the ocean breeze softly brushed our cheeks. Oh my goodness, it's still not over. With this, our regular routine resumed. We tried to share our meals as often as we could and committed together whenever possible. Commuted. I don't remember what I said. On one particular morning, we finished breakfast and prepared to leave for work.
では行くか。
Wait, Shelby, your tie is crooked. There, all fixed.
おう。ありがとう。
I was expecting him to get jealous. Okay, well that's better then. Shelby dipped his head and kissed me after I adjusted his tie. Oh, come on. Our mornings were always a whirlwind, and his spontaneous kisses left me unsure of how to respond. Maybe you're still not used to it. He must have noticed my flustered expression because a proud grin spread across his face.
すまない。こらえられなくてな。
Men like teasing their women. Mine does too. Well, please try. Try what? I missed something. I can't resist. Okay. I read it, but I didn't read it.
無理を言うな。この手の仕草には弱い。
Look at that face.
第一、お前と結婚する前に暮らしていた時でさえも、ネクタイを直された時には、ついキスをしそうになったんだ。
I know, I remember that. I think he leaned in and caught himself before he did kiss her because it was almost like the correct thing to do, right?
結婚した今、我慢が効くはずないだろ。
I wish he would have, though. That would have been an interesting first kiss for sure. Really? When I adjust your tie? I don't recall that. No?
ああ。一応、私もしそうになったことはごまかしたからな。お前は気づいていなかったかもしれないが。だが、あの頃からお前は可愛くて、正直、大変だった。
I much like reading this than all of the the intense scenes like in the office or in the suite. This makes me smile and giggle. Blushing Shelby cleared his throat as he reminisced. I would never have guessed Shelby felt that way during our pretend contract-based marriage. It surprised me to realize that Shelby had harbored such feelings even before we were officially married. He did express them to you one day before you were married. I couldn't pinpoint exactly when he began seeing me in a romantic light. Yet his blossoming emotions sparked a similar response in me, leading us to the shared happiness we now enjoyed.
と、こうしている時間はないな。急ぐぞ。
Look at the time. Ha, if only your office was closer to home. Glancing at my watch, I sighed. As much as I wanted to continue chatting with Shelby, given our commute, we had to leave or risk being late. While the drive from our house on 1st Avenue didn't take long, the commute from our 8th Avenue home was considerably easier.
そうだな。8番街か9番街あたりでもう少し住みやすい家を探すか。どちらも人気エリアだからな。気に入る物件を見つけるまで時間はかかるだろうが。
I know, but I adore this house. We made so many memories here.
そうだな。私もこの家からは離れがたい。もう少しゆっくり検討するとしようか。
As he spoke, Shelby opened the front door. What is it? Shelby froze in place. Upon opening the door, Cupid corpse stood before us. Huh?
見間違いか。
Stop holding us in suspense. What is it? What? Shelby shut the door, rubbing his eyes in disbelief. I would have done the same had I not been wearing makeup. Wait, was our house moved? I turned around to verify that we were indeed at our home on First Avenue. Upon exiting our house, we should have been stepping out onto First Avenue sidewalk.
すまない。寝ぼけていたようだ。
Yes, it's alright, let's try again.
そうだな。行くぞ。
Shelby gathered himself and opened the front door once again. To his surprise, Cupid Corp was standing there once again. Like across the street, right? Like not right in front of their door.
夢を見ているのか。
Our home was supposed to be on First Avenue, yet after opening the door, we found ourselves on 7th Avenue already. Time portal? The phenomenon was mystifying. Shelby opened and closed the door several times to validate what we were experiencing. I'm just guessing here, but this could be Dad's doing.
お父さんの。
Yes, Dad mentioned wanting to express his gratitude to you, Shelby. I think Mom and Dad used their divine powers to switch the locations of homes on 1st and 7th Avenues. but was it right across the street, though?
そうか。確かにこれならば出勤時間が減って楽にはなるか。
I'm so confused.
これが神の力か。
This music just makes it funny instead of, like, divine.
Oh my god.
Chubby placed his hand on his forehead and looked up at the sky. I felt a similar sentiment welling up within me. The gods often impose their whims upon us with their immense power and unchecked will. But even as a former god, I couldn't help but marvel at the raw strength of Dad's divine intervention. Together, Shelby and I stood, hands on our foreheads, gazing up at the sky in shared disbelief. That's funny. Sweet and spicy. And wait, that's the end. What? Dang it. I must have missed it somewhere. I'll have to cut it out, I guess. what it is, but there's something sexy about.
私は常に SS 完璧を求めてきたが、お前との結婚は SS 以上。いや、そもそも意味が違うかもしれないな。スイートな S とスパイシーな S、 そんなところか。心安らげる存在でありながら緊張もする。男としていつまでもお前の前でカッコつけたいと思わされる。もちろんお前に愛され続けるための努力を今後も怠る気はない。スイートでスパイシーなマイダーリン、これからもよろしく頼む。
That was really cute. The way it cut me off though was kind of awkward, but I was gonna say there's something sexy about a picture of Shelby licking the chocolate off his fingers. Whatever, it's fine. So my thoughts on this. It's gonna be slightly different than Ryuki's, only because I accidentally included it while reading Shelby's last episode. So good news there, my last episode was shorter to record because I had to cut out this ending to put it in the endings. But I'm not gonna record the rest of this until the next time I do another video, which now I can use that CG right there because it's not in this episode, not in the last episode anymore. Alright, so after the sweet and spicy end, we're gonna go to load. I think it's load save file 1 because it's asking about Shelby's, if we're worried about Shelby or not. This leads down the bad spicy end. And we're gonna say we're not gonna worry about Shelby's health. Oh, by the way, I'm recording on my new microphone today. I don't think it sounded any different when I listened to it, but if it does for some reason, just know that that's what that's what it is. I copied filters over and it sounded pretty good, so I'm just going with it. And the mic doesn't have to be very close to me anymore either, which I really like. Okay, don't worry about Shelby's health. Just the other day, we were having dinner together. Well, I guess I was really just having a jelly drink too. Feeling a bit disheveled, I grabbed a jelly drink from the pantry. But oh my god, it's been 2 weeks. I don't remember what all the context is. But I think this is after like Omar came on to her and he's just been working, sleeping, and eating jelly drinks nonstop because he's formulating a plan that he implements at the end of this. Feeling a bit disheveled, I grabbed a jelly drink from the pantry. I finished it quickly before heading off to work. It's the beginning of the end. What?
お話し中、失礼します。少々気になる運命がありましたので、お知らせに参りました。
What the heck is this? Okay, so this is the new character. I'm so confused. No, it's habanero love. Translation: it's not just spicy, it's like a bubbling lava. Proceed at your own risk. I'm curious, is his route branched off from Shelby's? I think it is. But let me just double check. Where is, I think it's Melvin. What's his name? I don't even know his name anymore. Marian's. It's not Melvin. They don't start with the M though. Levin. Maybe that's what it is. Marian's Levin. Oh, okay. This is not a branch off from anything. Okay, it's Owen's that's a branch off from somewhere. And I don't know whose Owen's branches off from. I'll have to get there. I'll figure it out when I get there, I guess. But anyway, there's a strange warning popped up just now.
ここから先の運命は波乱に満ちております。よくお考えになってお選びください。
So I just noticed it says his name at the bottom of the screen. Sorry, I was tabbed out and I was looking for him, so I wasn't able to read that. Are you ready? Yes. Okay. I think it's all spicy. Spicy, spicy, spicy. Let me go back to Shelby real quick. Yes, it's spicy, spicy, spicy. Okay. So, let's go spicy.
差し出がましいようですが、この先の運命はあなたが想像している以上に激辛ですよ。私には見えておりますから。それでも行かれるとおっしゃるのですか？
Are you ready? Absolutely, let's go spicy.
そうですか。どうしても激辛な運命を選びたいとあなたはお考えなのですね。
We're embracing our spicy destiny.
少々心配ではありますが、これ以上お引き止めするのも運命に背く行為。お伺いするのは最後です。Right?
Right? Are you ready? Regardless of what anyone says, I choose spicy.
承知しました。これも運命。いってらっしゃいませ。
I really like his voice actor. What is the ending? The Homard Lobster Sweet Trap. Bad spicy indie Shelby Snail ? I gotta reread that whenever I edit this. Despite beating Ellie Omar, there were many days when Shelby and I didn't see each other. Even by dinner time, Shelby still hadn't come home. Our bedrooms remained separate. Oh yeah, there was that problem too. When I woke up in the mornings, he had already left the house and I hadn't seen his face for days. Oh my goodness, I couldn't do that. At work, our exchanges were strictly professional. I was his secretary, but he would even reschedule meetings without informing me. He stopped sharing his schedule altogether. This can hardly be called a marriage. I hadn't seen Shelby's face outside of work. We were supposed to be living together, but we hardly saw each other. I wondered if he only went to our house on 8th Avenue and never came back to our 1st Avenue home. Let's see, what should we do for dinner? Sorry, it looks like I'll be late today. How about we go to a nearby restaurant? Thank you for working hard. Got it. I'm in the mood for curry. Here it is. I'll make sure to leave by 9. I'll get in touch soon. We didn't even message each other anymore. Looking at our past messages about dinner plans was painful. I felt alone and cornered. I longed to share a drink with Claris, but I didn't even know how to contact her. I didn't have any friends to whom I could vent my frustrations. That sense of isolation pushed me further into a corner. That's why I fell into Ellie's trap. Oh no! Poor Shelby.
やあ、リネット。今帰りかい？
Eli, sorry. I was preparing to board the subway when Eli Omar called out to me, the very man who'd feuded with Shelby.
夕飯はまだかな。実は今日もロサンヨークのレストランの調査をしに来ていてね。できれば既婚者の意見が聞きたいんだ。もし夕飯の予定さえなければ付き合ってもらえないかな。
Yeah, you've already used that line. Unlike before, I found myself unable to weave a lie about having dinner plans with my husband. The realization struck me hard. I hadn't shared a meal with Shelby in days. We hadn't even shared a kiss in far too long.
どうした？
He reached out and touched my cheek, and that was when I realized I was crying. Aww. Eli gently wiped away my tears with his gloved hand.
よっぽどストレスが溜まっているみたいだね。私でよければやけ酒に付き合うよ。こう見えても強いんだ。
Just don't give her chocolate. But
関係ない相手の方が愚痴は言いやすいものだ。会社の人にはできない話でも溜まっているんだろう。大丈夫。秘密は守るよ。
his voice was soft, understanding, and logical. It was the kind of tone that made me think he would accept everything about me.
話しやすいいいバーを知っているんだ。一緒に行こう。
Ellie extended a hand towards me with a warm smile. Didn't have the strength to refuse. Under Eli's encouraging words and bolstered by the alcohol, I let out all my pendant frustrations about Shelby. I love my job so much, but he just doesn't understand.
あんなに仕事熱心な社員は君以上にいないというのに。
What? But you don't know anything about that.
いや、インタビューで見たことがあるよ。もちろん、パラサイトハウスでもだ。
You watched that? Weren't you in France then?
ああ、フランスから見ていた。それで羨ましく思っていたよ。こんなに聡明で熱心な人のいる CC のことをね。だからフランスのみならずロサンヨークでも事業をしたいと思ったんだ。君みたいに熱心な人がいるならとね。だが来てみて分かったよ。君以上に素晴らしい人はこのロサンヨークにはいない。
Throughout the night, Eli listened patiently to my complaints, offering agreeable responses. I was aware his words would most likely flattery, but it was attention I hadn't received in a while. Encouraged by Eli and the drinks, I continued to grumble. Being a god, I had always been confident about my alcohol tolerance. There had been occasions when I shared 5 bottles of wine with Clarice. I assumed I would be fine, but hours later I realized I was drunk. Chloe only cares about work. She said that gods never got drunk on alcohol. I was drunk and my mind was a daze. The feelings of discontent towards Shelby smoldering deep inside erupted. He hasn't come home in ages. Yes. He doesn't trust what I say.
それは辛かったね。よく一人で頑張った。
He said it so gently that tears flowed from my eyes. Thought back to when Shelby accused me of making a fool out of him, and his refusal to believe my claim of being Cupid. The fact that he struggled to accept it weighed on my heart. He completely rejected that and refused to listen. I found myself wanting him to say he believed me, even if I were lying.
私なら君の言う言葉を信じるよ。
Those were obviously just sweet nothings, but they caused me to pout and puff up my cheeks. Even if I had told you my real identity was Cupid?
ああ、もちろんだとも。キューピッドか。確かにそう見えるね。
Really?
ああ、少なくとも今の私にはそのように見えるよ。
He smiled and held out his cocktail glass.
君は本物のキューピッドだ。私は君の正体ごと君を魅力的だと思っているよ。否定するなんてもってのほかだ。
You're lying.
だとしてもその嘘さえ言えなかった男がいるなんて私は信じられないね。こんな魅力的な女性を目の前にして冷たく振る舞える男の気が知れない。
Ellie held my hand and gently kissed my fingertips. We'd been drinking for hours and he hadn't made a move until now. Suddenly he was right there looking at me intently.
どうかした？
Eli smiled sweetly, tilting his head as his fingers intertwined with mine. His fingertip traced the spaces between my fingers, a touch that sent shivers down my spine, as though he was caressing my very soul.
本当は君も求めているはずだ。その空虚さを満たしてくれるもの。
I didn't mean it that way, it's just...
ただ寂しかった。
His words made me twitch in realization. He whispered in my ear, holding me close by the shoulders.
物欲しげな顔をして愛らしい人だ。
He's such a snake.
私なら君を寂しくはさせないよ。どこまでも満たしてあげよう。
His deep, raspy voice sent a shiver down my spine, causing my hair to stand on end. All I could do was weakly shake my head. Having consumed too much alcohol, my thoughts were muddled and I couldn't find the right words.
大丈夫。君はただ酔いに身を任せていればいい。VIPルームの準備を。
How dare you take advantage of her?
かしこまりました。
With a gentle lift, I was moved from my spot. Suddenly, I found myself on a bed. One moment I was sharing drinks with Eli at the bar, and the next I was lying down.
リネット。
That voice was closer than I expected, making me flinch. This is bad. The situation is really bad. I don't know how to say that word. In my inebriated state, I couldn't stand up properly. My only attempt at defense was to lie face down, my head turned away, face down. That proved to be a mistake. He hovered over me, trapping me underneath. He held down my arm, setting off alarm bells in my head. Please wait.
大丈夫。君は自分に素直になればいい。
My skin's crawling just reading this. He slipped a finger into my mouth, silencing my words. As it brushed against my teeth, I shuddered. Bite him.
君がこんなに魅力的なのが悪いんだ。
I would be biting you. I felt something soft against my neck, likely Eli's lips. Or maybe not. I abandoned rational thought, consoling myself with the hope that it wasn't him.
私も君も飲みすぎたんだ。正常な判断などしなくていい。
He traced his tongue along the nape of my neck, a sensation so intense that I almost bit his finger in response. What do you mean almost? Oh my goodness, we need to bite that man. I tried to convince myself this was all a dream and we were still in the bar.
そう、夢だ。起きた頃には忘れているさ。
This is sexual assault.
だから心も体も満たさない男など今は忘れるんだ。
I felt the zipper on my skirt being undone and the touch of a blanket being draped over me. My skin, warm from the alcohol, was met with a cold finger. The dizzying sensation mixed with the cool touch felt refreshing and arousing.
ずいぶん長いこと触れられていなかったようだね。こんな魅力的な女性を前にしてよくあの男はできなかったものだな。
Oh, he definitely can't resist. We've already read all that. It's my fault.
君は何も悪くない。悪いのはあの男の方だ。かわいそうに。さあ、じっとして。
What do I do? A pang of guilt pricked my foggy consciousness, but the tantalizing pleasures kept me anchored to the bed.
もっと素直になるんだ。自分をさらけ出して。私に全てを見せるといい。
He hoisted me up on my hips and took control. Were Homard lobsters carnivorous? Dumb things like that swirled in my mind. Oh my goodness.
リネット、愛しているよ。
I don't. No.
愛している。本当だとも。私はずるい男だ。君が迷っていると分かっていても、そのチャンスをつかまずにはいられない。君が他の男のものだって分かっている。それでも君が欲しいんだ。
It's a lie, is what I wanted to say, but the words didn't come out. I wanted to believe it was a lie, but I couldn't. In an attempt to muffle any protest, he covered my mouth with his hand. My muffled voice slipped through his fingers as I acknowledged my true feelings. I was lonely. In truth, I wanted this. I craved words to fill the void. I longed for warmth to permeate my body. He seized this vulnerable moment when my yearning for companionship overpowered me. Now there was no turning back. That stimulating and spicy night passed like a torrent. Huh? The moment I woke up, I was shocked at the scenery before me. I did it. I messed up. That probably wasn't a dream. Most likely I had...
やあ、リネット。おはよう。目が覚めたかい？
It was Eli who came into the room. The lingering sensations of last night still clung to my body, making my skin pale with realization. Eli, I...
大丈夫。忘れたければ、そう言えばいい。私も君の弱みにつけ込んだ悪い男だ。だから、君は悪くないんだ。君が望むなら逃がしてもいい。でも、あの激しい夜を忘れられないなら、何度だって君を満たしてあげるよ。
Eli moved closer, his face not inches from mine. The intimacy in his gaze triggered the memories of our passion from the previous night. I could never forget that moment. It was so fervently passionate, so thrillingly illicit.
思い出しただけで、したくなった。
I wanted to rebuff him, but the words wouldn't come out. My flushed cheeks were a clear indicator of my turmoil, causing me to look away. But I couldn't bring myself to refuse him outright. The truth was, I craved that intensity again. No, that's not right. This isn't ethical. I knew the truth of that statement, but I did nothing to dampen the strength of my emotions.
なら、もう一度しようか。
But I need to be at the office today. A feeble attempt to reason with him was silenced as he gently pushed me back onto the bed. When is this going to be over? The clarity of the moment was overwhelming, as was the warmth. There was no drunken haze to obscure. I was swept away in the tide of passion.
君のような優秀な女性を部屋に閉じ込めるような強量な男はもう忘れればいい。私なら君が望む未来をあげるよ。好きにしていい。仕事もプライベートも夜の生活もね。
Nighttime adventures.
だから私と結婚するんだ。君がうなずくならば必要な手続きは私がしておくよ。リネット、私と結婚してほしいんだ。
You don't care about her, though. Eli leaned in and whispered in my ear, gently sliding a ring onto my finger. The engagement ring used for marriage proposal sparkled in the morning sunlight. Now it was on my ring finger. Where did Shelby's ring go? No, Eli.
なぜ？
Where is his ring, though? He laughed, his breath ghosting over the nape of my neck. It was like he wanted to brand me, to leave an indelible mark.
訴えられてもいい。それぐらい君を愛しているんだ。
His words, his actions, it was like a devil's seduction, Eli's trap. He was the true carnivore. Once caught, I couldn't escape. These new sensations I had never experienced before or after marriage clouded my judgment. It was like something straight out of mythology, reminiscent of the tale of Jupiter and Lady Juno. Juno, the goddess of marriage, detested infidelity. Yet I found myself falling into the same trap. I was consumed once more. That day I arrived late to work by half an hour, and yet...
ああ、今日は遅かったな。
I don't want to read this. Like, I feel guilty and ashamed for even looking at him right now. Even after coming to the office, all I heard was a calm tone. Despite my tardiness, he remained engrossed in his work, not once glancing up at me. Your secretary is 30 minutes late, and he doesn't even care. Shelby, are you mad?
怒る？何がだ？
He glanced up briefly, his expression one of mild confusion, before returning to his work. From the looks of it, he didn't realize that I hadn't returned home last night. Uh-oh. But I...
別に仕事に支障はない。気にしている時間があったらすぐ職務に就いてくれ。
Did you not notice that your wife didn't come home last night? He didn't ask if I was okay, or if he should be worried. His calm demeanor was indistinguishable from how he treated any other employee. I knew it was because he was working, but his distant attitude caused something to snap within me. I see. That business-like attitude helped dissipate the guilt and pain gnawing at my conscience. Shelby doesn't love me anymore. That must be why he hadn't noticed I didn't come home, and why he didn't even share dinner together. That's why I see. I thought we were still husband and wife, but we're not. Shelby, can I quit being your secretary?
は？ああ、そういえば前にそんな話をしていたな。わかった。代わりを探しておく。
Is that all?
現場に戻りたいのだろ？
His nonchalance felt like a shove, pushing me away, and I let the tears flow. Alright, then let's get a divorce.
No.
Uh-oh. Shelby's face turned pale.
待て、何を言っているんだ？
Shelby, you don't need me anymore.
バカな！一体何を根拠に？
Because you didn't even realize I didn't come home last night.
家に帰らなかったのか。
I can't believe she's telling him this. That's right, and you didn't notice, and when I arrived late to the office, all you cared about was the work. You didn't even worry about me. You didn't show any concern, like whether I'd been in an accident, or ask why I was so tired that I overslept. I know I'm not your concern anymore, so...
そうか。お前まであの男を選んだんだな。
Huh?
社員のみならず妻もということか。あの男はどこへでも好きに行けばいい。私は SS だ。一人で構わない。
I'm glad I didn't read this right after their little fight, because I'd probably be crying right now. You're fine.
お前は自由だ。どこへでも行けばいい。
He doesn't even put up a fight for her.
好きにすればいい。
He just totally dismissed her. His cold and distant words pushed me away. Upon hearing them, I finally understood what I truly wanted, for him to try and stop me. I know, right? He asked me to stay, to say that he loved me, but he didn't, not even in these final moments. If it meant begging for something, he'd rather let it go. That's how much our relationship meant to him. Fine, I'll never come back.
好きにしろ。
その言葉が聞けて安心したよ。シェルビー社長。
Of course he's there. Huh?
依頼オマール。
There to see Eli standing there, obviously without an appointment. Lost and confused, I barely noticed as Eli stepped up to put his arm around my shoulders.
なら、彼女を私がもらっても構わない。ということだね。
How long is this going to go, man? This is like a 30-minute bad ending. Jeez.
何を言って。
一人で構わない。お前は自由だ。好きにしろ。 今確かに君はそう言ったはずだよ。
聞いていたのか。
ああ、これでね。
He recorded you too. He reached behind my ear, plucking something small. It was a listening device. Huh? What did you?
すまないね、リネット。君を手に入れたいあまり、少し強引な手段を使わせてもらった。
You should just leave both of them. Eli caressed my cheek, his gaze full of longing. His affectionate attention made me look away, especially with Shelby watching.
いつ私の妻にそんなものをつけたんだ。
This morning.
妻ね。どこへでも行けと言っていたのに。昨晩の彼女は本当に愛らしかったよ。こんな魅力的な女性を前に何もできない男がいるだなんて信じられないぐらいに。ね。
Of course he's gonna rub it in his face. Shelby's eyes widened. He lunged at Eli.
お前は
Don't do that. He's gonna put you behind bars.
私には勝てないから力に訴えるつもりかい？残念だがもう手遅れだよ。私は彼女にプロポーズをしたんだ。
Eli gently lifted my hand, an engagement ring glinting in the light. Oh my goodness. Kissed the back of my hand softly.
リネット、改めて聞かせてくれ。私と結婚してくれるだろう。私は君を裏切らないと誓う。君に寂しい思いなんてさせはしないよ。
Did you ever believe that? Eli assured me, his gaze the gentlest I'd ever seen. Honestly, I knew he was manipulating me, but given the circumstances, I wasn't sure if I could repair things with Shelby. So I nodded. I could see the life drained from Shelby. He released Eli's collar and looked at me, his expression blank.
やはり女は地位か。そうだよな。買収されかけている CC の社長なんかよりオマールホールディングスの副社長の方がいいに決まっている。
Poor Shelby. No. It wasn't about prestige. It wasn't the reason my heart wavered. Shelby was avoiding the truth, running from his feelings, making assumptions that suited him, reverting back to the prestige parasite. Watching this, Eli placed the documents on the table, acquisition papers and divorce papers.
あとは君がこの書類にサインをすればいいだけだ。
こんなものいくらでも書いてやる。
Shelby quickly signed the divorce papers and tossed them back.
だが我が社は私はしない。私をバカにするのも大概にしろ。
He'll just hand over his wife, but not his company.
そうか。彼女よりも会社の方が大切ということか。
Shelby's immediate agreement showed me that there was no love for me left in him. Eli gently put his arm around my shoulder and whispered to me.
ではもう行こう。君を傷つける男は私が許さない。
Turned our backs to Shelby and exited the office. Once we stepped into the elevator, I looked back one last time. Shelby wasn't looking at me. And then, in the end, the breakup happened swiftly. I became the wife of the vice president of Homard Holdings. I thought it would take more time, but Shelby never once tried to stop me. I guess it was over for us. If we remained together, perhaps we could have talked things through and built trust, but that never happened. But what I really wanted to talk about was, perhaps I still harbored regrets. I likely did, given the sadness I felt about him pushing me away like this. I stared blankly out of the window and spotted someone walking on the ground floor. Was that Shelby? I leaned over to get a better look, but I was quickly pulled back.
リネット、おいで。
Eli. With my hand resting on the terrace railing, Eli kissed me, a look of joy on his face.
実は CC の買収が済んだんだ。これでロサンヨークの婚活市場は全て我がオマールホールディングスのものとなった。
What? You managed to acquire it?
ああ、うまく交渉できてね。これでロサンヨーカーたちの未来はもう大丈夫だ。きっとみんな幸せになる。だから君も安心するんだ。
Okay. Homard Holdings was indeed oppressive. With the acquisition of Cupid Corp, they would become even more influential. More Paradis, the paradise of love, would surely grow along with it.
こうして一段落ついたからね。そろそろ一旦フランスに戻ろうと思っているんだ。君も来るかい？
Can we end this? Like, why is it going so long? This is taking like precedence over all the other endings right now. To France.
ああ、ぜひ君を私の家族に紹介したい。
He kissed me again, easily visible to anyone from below. I thought I heard someone gasp. I tried to look down, but Eli stopped me.
こんなところにまで来るなんて、やっぱり未練があるみたいじゃないか。本当に素直じゃない男だ。
I know, that was definitely Shelby. Huh?
いや、なんでもないよ、リネット。君があまりに愛らしいもので、つい声が出てしまったんだ。
As we continued to kiss, I heard a faint noise nearby. It wasn't the creaking of a railing, but the presence of someone. Who was there?
はじめはシェルビーを揺さぶるためだけのつもりだったが、まさか彼が新会社を作って対抗してくるとはね。彼女をこの手で閉じ込めておけば、まだまだ楽しめそうだ。やり手社長のシェルビー・スネイル、君が今後どう動くか、本当に楽しみだよ。まあ、最後にその会社をもらうのは私だがね。せいぜい成長させておくといい。
Eli was saying something to the open terrace, but I couldn't clearly hear what he said. Oh my goodness. Finally, it's over. Jeez. 40 minutes. That was disgusting. Anyway. Okay, now we're going to go to load save file 3 and we're going to go to the sweet end. Save file 3. It was a trap! Oh my goodness, we're gonna tell him we understand. So Owen wants us to go tell Shelby that his cards are rigged and Omar's going to cheat. But instead, we're not gonna say, we're not gonna tell Owen to tell him this time, we're gonna say we understand. Fine. I got it from the sofa that I was sitting on and ran to Shelby, but...
失礼。マダムはこちらでお待ちを。
Huh?
勝敗に影響しますので、スネイル夫人は動かないようにとのイーライ様のご命令です。
No. Poker match was reaching the end. I had to reach Shelby before it was too late. Only way was to get Owen to relay the message. I glanced desperately in his direction only to find him restrained by security.
動くな！オーウェン・ヘリオット！お前がイーライ様を裏切っている裏は取れているんだ！
Okay, we've already seen all that, so we'll just skip until the sweet end now. Sweet, sweet cranberry. Spicy, darling end. Cranberry, huh? A year after our victory over Mr. Homard in the gamble, we found ourselves luxuriating on our newly purchased private beach. Did you take his island? This feels good. I relished in the blazing sun and the calming sound of the ocean waves. They provided a luxurious experience, enabling me to fully relax. I never anticipated living like a celebrity. As I picked up a magazine from the side table of my beach chair, I reflected on our incredible journey. Looks like he made the front cover of a magazine. How about this drink? Give it a try. Money isn't everything. Ice melon soda, huh? The issue I held was the latest edition of Forbes World. It was an economic magazine famed for its list of the world's 40th wealthiest people. The current issue featured none other than Shelby. At 33, Shelby... Wait, he's supposed to be more than 33 now, right? Maybe he was 32 last game, I don't know. At 33, Shelby Snail's sudden surge in wealth had positioned him among the world's elite, the top 40th wealthiest individuals. His youth made him a topic of global discussion, while his poker prowess earned him the nickname Poker King.
リネット
Shelby called out my name as he returned with a drink for me. He placed the drink on the table, then scooped me off the beach chair. Oh my goodness. And I found myself on top of him as I replaced the magazine. Aww. Like, you gotta sit with me.
またこれを見ていたのか
Yes, you're on the cover, Shelby. I couldn't help myself.
別に珍しい顔でもないだろう
It's still a novelty, having my husband on the cover of a magazine. In the beginning, our increased prosperity came solely from poker winnings. As per Mr. Homar's word, he relinquished ownership of the island, and we participated in the tourism industry of Lost York. Oh yeah, I forgot they wagered the island. Shelby demonstrated remarkable business acumen in handling those operations. I think the reason why I forgot was because in the sweet and spicy end that I read like 2 weeks ago, he put Homard in charge of his island, even though he had acquisition of it. Shelby demonstrated remarkable business acumen in handling those operations.
ここに売却希望の企業リストがある買収後の発展見込み改善点など一通り私の意見を記載してある慎重に精査した後すべて買い占める買収先の社員の雇用も確保したまま我が社のグループ企業として機能してもらいたい
お相手にとってもそれはかなりの好条件ですねいい協力体制になると思います
ああそうだな急ぎ優秀な人材が多数必要だヘッドハンティングのプロに依頼しよう彼にアポを取ってもらえるか
He's going to employ a headhunter.
承知いたしました
Not to push from other people's those.
かねてより準備していたが今期中にキューピッドコーポレーションを株式市場に上場させる体制も再度全て見直す必要があるここからは時間との勝負だ
はい必要なスタッフをすぐに集めます
なあ頼んだ社員一同意識を改めないとな上場すれば知名度も社会的責任も一気に上がる今までの比ではないだがやる価値は大いにあるもっと大規模で事業が展開できるようになるからなやる気に満ちた我が社の社員たちであれば自己実現が叶ういい機会になるだろう今でも皆多数の企画を上げてくれているしな
ええチャレンジできる土壌があればもっとみんな喜びますよ
ここの土地だが新オフィスにちょうどいいだろう広さも立地も申し分ない 購入しておいてもらえるか。
はい、承知しました。オフィスの建築はどこのハウスメーカーがよろしいでしょうか？
そうだな。8番街にあるベッドールタワーを担当したメーカーにアポを取ってみてくれ。幾何学的で素晴らしかったからな。我が社の新オフィスもロサンヨークの新しいランドマークになれるよう熟考しよう。あとは新規事業のショッピングモールについてだが、すでにある6番街のショッピングストリートとコンセプトを明確に分ける必要がある。あそこは若者のデートスポットをテーマにしているだろう。ならばこちらはファミリー層狙いで、4番街にあるテーマパークの近くに展開するのがいいだろう。あの辺りのデータ集めてくれるか。
かしこまりました。確かテーマパーク横に膨大な土地が手つかずのままだった気がします。
それは朗報だ。頼んだぞ。
Oh my goodness.
株主総会開催の手配を頼む。今後の事業展開の説明を行う。
As fascinating as this all is, you lost me back at like flashback number 2.
かしこまりました。準備します。
ロサンヨーク、ボルトモア、ワラントン。次に狙うはアメリカを飛び出してジャパンだ。そして5年後には宇宙事業に参入する。
We're gonna build a business in space. Oh, thank goodness that's over. He used aboard Paradis as leverage to boost his net worth. Shelby must have sought to position himself as high as possible to avoid future acquisition threats. As a result, we became a formidable corporation rivaling Homard Holdings. Cupid Corp had evolved into Cupid Holdings, branching out into diverse sectors. Numerous companies now operated under it. Shelby Snail had truly climbed up to the top as SS. Before we were married, he told me about his desire to elevate Cupid Corp to the highest ranks in Lost York and then the country. Shelby has said that he finally felt like a proper man then.
甘いな、これは。
Are you a man now, Shelby? Shelby sampled the drink and smiled wryly. Let's see. I took a sip and an intensely sweet flavor filled my mouth. It was delicious, ice cold and super sweet cranberry juice. It's good.
そうか。ならよかった。
It may have been overly sweet, but it was the perfect refreshment for such a hot sunny day. I was having so much fun, and I felt so content. As I basked under the scorching sun, I stole a glance at Shelby. Hey, Shelby.
なんだ?
Do you think you've truly become SS now? I asked if there were still goals he wished to achieve. He chuckled softly.
どうだろうな。個人的にはまだできることはあると思うが。だが、確かにここに来てようやく初めて SS になれたと思えたような気がする。
He's truly SS now.
常に仕事をしていることが正しいと考えていたが、心にも時間にも余裕を持ち、バランスを取る方がよっぽど難しく有意義だったんだな。
I thought he was plenty wonderful already. I couldn't help but laugh hearing Shelby say that it took him this long to feel that way.
だが、どれだけ資産があろうと、立派な男になろうと、お前がいなくては意味がない。
Oh, that's not what you said the last ending. Oh my goodness.
お前がここにいてくれれば、私はそれでいい。
Shelby gently caressed my cheek with his palm and leaned in for a kiss. A single droplet spilled from the glass in my hand. The chilled liquid evaporated quickly under the blazing sun.
お前はどうだ?
Me?
今の生活で満足しているか?
He meant my life living like a celebrity. Due to Shelby's newfound fame, he told me that it was dangerous for me to walk alone in public. That was why I put my work on hold. In fact, when I commuted to work on foot, I was hounded by the paparazzi numerous times. Why don't you just go to work with him? It was tough when it reached that point. I could sense destiny at play as Shelby shaped his life this way. The catalyst was when news broke of Shelby's position among Lost Yorker's top earners. Another flashback. That particular day we were strolling to work as usual. Shelby, I was thinking of making a biryani tonight. Do you think you'll be home late?
そうだな。ある程度スタッフに任せているため早めに帰れると思うが。
スネイル社長、フランスの大企業に勝ちセレブの仲間入りをされた今、どんなお気持ちですか？
噂では多数の企業を買収予定だとか。目指すところはどこですか？そちらが奥さんのスネイル夫人ですよね。さすが愛妻家。毎日一緒に出社しているんですか？
彼のどこに惚れたんですか？全ロサンヨーカー女子憧れのシェルビー社長との馴れ初め教えてください。一言でいいんで答えてくださいよ。
The barrage of questions came fast, accompanied by a flurry of unauthorized photography. Shelby quickly stepped in to shield me.
すまない。本日は急いでいる。要件があれば会社を通して連絡してくれ。そうすれば何でも答える。妻への質問も同様だ。彼女を困らせるようであれば許さない。リネット、早くこっち。
ああ、待って。
Shelby grabbed my arm and steered us into a secluded back alley. We changed our route from the last time, but they still found us.
そうだな。一体どこから見張っているのか。やはりこれでは今まで通りの暮らしは難しいだろうな。迷惑をかけてすまない。
No, it's okay. We're not being pursued because we did something wrong. It's just a little inconvenient.
いた。今日こそは質問に答えてもらいますよ。
Oh my goodness, that's harassment.
まだ追いかけてくるのか。とりあえずどこかの店に入ってやり過ごす方が良さそうだな。目立たないような。
I know, just the place. The donut shop.
いらっしゃいませ。
That's funny. We entered a popular donut shop on 7th Avenue, Mo Donuts. The paparazzi wouldn't expect us to hide into such a busy place.
なるほど。裏の裏を行く作戦だな。
Haha, I had a feeling this would be the last place they'll look.
ああ、試す価値はある。社への連絡はしておくから、少しここで家具。
おはようございます。今日もチョコミントドーナツですか？
Oh my goodness, the clerk has a face. like unnamed people usually don't have faces. Sorry, I accidentally cut Shelby off, but it's fine. A sturdy looking employee recognized me and smiled. I sometimes visited to buy donuts, so we were somewhat familiar with each other. Once when I bought chocolate mint donuts for a dessert, Shelby remarked that he liked them. Yes, we'll take 2 for takeout, please. Oh, but we would like to get something for here too.
わかりました。2名様ですね。あそこの奥の席お使いください。店内用のドーナツはどれにされますか？
Shelby, what would you like? They're all made with soy milk, so they're supposed to be healthy.
このダークチョコにナッツが振りかけてあるものがうまそうだな。
As we perused the display case, the entrance door swung open.
いらっしゃいませ。おお、メリニス。今日もいつもの買ってく。
Aw, he's being introduced in a route. That's cute. Initially, I was anxious thinking it could be more paparazzi, but the employee's reaction suggested that it was just a regular customer.
ロビン、おはようございます。ええ、いつものを。ん？
What the heck? The tall customer who entered after us took a quick look at me, then pulled out a donut. He peeked at me through the hole in the donut. Why does he already have a donut? Is he here to buy more? He must really love donuts. Out of my thoughts about the donut, I was surprised when he addressed me with an odd comment.
どうしてあなたはここにいるんですか?
Huh?
あなたの運命からは誰もいない海岸でくつろいでいる姿が見えます。
Yeah, this guy really believes in fate. So, I'm interested in to know what his root's about.
あ、誰もいないというのとは違いますね。隣には常にそこの彼だけがいる。
That's cute. Not secluded, just with Shelby. Following his cryptic remark, he glanced over at Shelby.
私か?
ええ、そうです。あなたです。クランベリージュースはとてもとても甘く喉に張り付きますが、それが二人を永遠に甘い関係へと誘います。それが運命なのです。
Man delivered a mysterious smile, but his words were nothing short of perplexing. Cranberry juice, fate.
急に何の話だ?
I know, he's so strange.
ああ、メレニス。急にそんなこと言ったら驚かれるだろう。すみません。彼、占い師なんです。しかも結構有名な。
Fortune.
占い師? それは本当なのか?
While I was still processing the information, Shelby seemed to be genuinely interested. That only added to my confusion. I had no idea Shelby had an interest in fortunes. He never mentioned such a thing before. It wasn't uncommon for successful business owners to have professional fortune tellers, but I assumed Shelby didn't believe in it. Could it be that he started to entertain more spiritual beliefs after discovering I was Cupid?
彼の占いは当たるのか?
はい、かなり当たるって評判ですよ。彼に占ってほしい人たちがロサンヨーク中から集まってきますから。
Oh, he's super famous, huh?
しかし、誰もいない海岸って無人島のことか、メレニス。
いいえ、その答えは彼がもう持っているかと。
I know, right? The island that he has.
私が? 誰もいない海岸、無人島。ああ、プライベートビーチのことだな。確かに2日前、パンフレットを取り寄せた。
What? You did? When?
ハネムーンでダムールパラディに行った時、お前は海を見てはしゃいでいただろ? それで。ああ、そうか。わかったぞ。
What?
やはり購入する運命だったのだな。これで決心がついたぞ。早速入札してくる。
What? Good job, Marionettes. That was how Shelby ended up purchasing the private beach. It all happened so fast that I could hardly keep up. The donut fortune teller was right. He ran from the paparazzi, stumbled upon a donut shop, encountered a fortune teller, and set us on a path to purchase the beach. That's funny. But, well, it must be fate, as he said. Even if we weren't working... Even if we weren't working, our wealth continued to grow, diminishing my urge to return to work. The constant attention and surprise from people made it challenging to maintain my formal work routine. So we enjoyed our time at the beach and relaxed at home. However, I always wanted to return to the field. As the former Cupid, I loved matchmaking. Shelby was aware of my longings and expressed concern.
こうして過ごす今に、お前は満足しているか? 現場に戻りたいと前に言っていただろう。本当にいいのか? こうして私といてもらって。
Well, I do want to return at some point. But Shelby, ever since we got married, you've been so busy. To be honest, I've always wanted to be by your side like this. So, what I want most right now is to be with you.
そうか。
Shelby was relieved to hear my answer. His vulnerable expression was stark contrast to the man on the cover of Forbes World. Seeing him that way deepened my love for him, making me smile. No matter how much our net worth might increase, there was only one thing we truly desired. And now we could dedicate all of our time to that. Even if we chose to stay together until we were tired of each other, no one could chastise us or interfere.
リネット、もう少し寄ってくれ。
Like this?
あ、そうだ。
As I leaned in, we shared a kiss before locking gazes. No one would disturb us on this private beach. We were free to express our love as much as we desired. In this secluded spot, far from the rest of the world, I felt as though we were the last two people on Earth.
リネット、愛している。
I love you too. We kissed again, running our hands through each other's sea-damped hair. Our lips were stained by the cranberry juice, making the kiss exceptionally sweet.
ようやくお前と二人きりになれたな。余暇ができたらしたいことが山ほどあったんだ。お前と二人でな。
Finally having become the ideal SS, he had more free time. Shelby slowly reached out to me. I wanted to ask what he had in mind, but his lips were quick to interrupt. The echo of the waves was our only soundtrack. We kissed under the midday sun on this private beach, our fingers intertwined as we lost ourselves in each other. There were no more worries. I looked up at the cloudless azure sky. The sweet happiness we found would be savored for the rest of our lives. Sweet end, Finn. This episode is so long. And it's going to be even longer because I haven't even added the original recording of the sweet and spicy end, and I have one more ending. Okay, I'm assuming it's save file 2 now. Okay, save file 2. Wait for him to talk, and then Owen tells him. Got it. Shelby didn't get out of the car. He hung his head low for some reason. He's worried about the duel, the poker duel. Wait for him to talk. A heavy silence fell upon us, interrupted only by the ticking of Shelby's wristwatch. I'm pretty certain this is about the match with Mr. Homard. Does he regret involving me in the bet? He looked like he wanted to say something, but he couldn't find the words. I wonder if he'd feel better if I told him it doesn't bother me.
リネット。
Shelby called out to me in a weak voice. To stop him from saying anything that would hurt himself, I decided to talk instead. It's okay. Mr. Homard isn't interested in me at all. He was just trying to get a rise out of you. That's why your decision back then wasn't a mistake, Shelby. It was actually the best thing to do. And don't forget, Cupid Corp is important to me as well. It's not just your burden to bear. I'm here to shoulder it with you. I let out all of my thoughts, hoping to give him some relief. Shelby seemed to relax a bit and let out a sigh.
リネット、ありがとう。
And let's not forget that I'm a part of this wager, so it only means you'll push yourself even harder, right?
当然だ。お前を誰かに渡してたまるものか。
Although he responded confidently, his tone was tense. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we've already seen the rest of this, so let's go to Owen. Owen, you handle it. I'm gonna skip to the end.
So.
Alright, 5-meter radius Bliss, huh? Several days after winning the gamble with Mr. Homard,
ではこれからもよろしくお願いいたします。
ええ、スネイル社長の寛大な処置に感謝しております。
Mr. Omar and Shelby shook hands. So much has happened since then. Using the mass media coverage of the gamble's outcome, Shelby secured a beneficial business partnership with Eli Omar. Instead of pursuing short-term business benefits owning the island, he delegated operations to Omar Holdings while planning for future profits. Shelby lacked the expertise to run amusement facilities like Demore Paradise Island, so he retained ownership of a significant amount of the company's stock and left the operations to them. But Shelby didn't stop at a simple business partnership. The partnership was only a bonus to acquiring what he needed, Omar Wedding. I think it said spicy end, right? But this is trying not to be the same as the first ending. That allowed them to establish the second branch of the Cupid Corp on the island with the staff of Omar Wedding's employees. It was a business partnership where Shelby had the advantage. Everything proceeded smoothly, even Eli Omar seemed to have significantly mellowed out. It was like a predator that had lost its fangs.
では拡張計画は中止ということで、海も元通りにしてもらおう。
かしこまりました。では私はこれで。失礼いたします。
Mr. Omar bowed respectfully to Shelby before exiting. After watching him leave, I approached Shelby. Are you sure about this? I think you do well running the island.
さすがに買いかぶりすぎだ。私がこの島を持ったところでこれほどの運営はできない。フランス老舗企業のオマールホールディングスの後ろ盾を失うのは大きな損失だ。だからあくまで経営はイーライ氏のままの方が我が社のためにもなると思ってな。それに妻との時間も必要だろ。
We had to run Demore Paradise as well. He wouldn't have too much time left for me.
お前と一緒に身の丈に合った形でこれから生きていきたい。そのための決断だ。
I see.
それに元はといえば買収を退け埋め立て計画を阻止するために彼に提案書を持っていっただけだ。脅威が去りこの手で我が社を守れるならば私はそれでいい。お前の懸念をなくす方が重要だ。埋め立ての計画がなくなればひとまずは大丈夫なのだろ。
Shelby smiled gently. I could tell that he had stopped the land reclamation out of concern for me. He still didn't fully believe in gods or divine powers, yet he worked to stop the plan. It wasn't to avoid divine wrath, but because he knew I was nervous about my parents' temples being buried. He fought on my behalf. I want to go and figure out if we're still on the spicy end, because this sounds exactly the same. Okay, I had to go double check, but yeah, it's the same as the sweet and spicy ending. So I'm assuming it's going to diverge eventually, because there are two different endings with two different names, so, but we've already read this, so just bear with me until it diverges, I guess. Yes, I think it'll be fine for now. I don't think Dad will unleash his wrath now. Thank you, Shelby.
ならよかった。
Seeing his genuine relief, I felt such joy that I impulsively hugged him.
ほら、リネット。
Thanks, Shelby. I'm so happy right now.
そうか。そこまで喜んでもらえるならばよかった。
Shelby blushed and looked away bashfully. He was perfect and SS, yet so bashful. My Shelby hasn't changed since we met. I know, he's so cute. I was sure things would be fine for Shelby and me. No matter what happened, I believe we shared a strong bond of trust. Well, I mean, the second, indeed. Oh my goodness. A few nights later, okay, this is where it diverges. We stood at the Cape of Demore Paradise, confirming that the land reclamation construction site was indeed gone. The seas were back to their usual calm. We really had stopped the expansion project.
よかった。本当に阻止できたようだな。
Yeah.
これでオイスターも無事に育つといいんだが。
I forgot that's what Rao was concerned about. It's the oysters. But they did do some land reclamation, so it's likely Mom's temple was destroyed. The Venus temple was somewhere in the ocean. The thought of it lying in ruins made me sad.
いや、愛するヴィーナスの神殿が壊れたままというのはこのマーズが許さん。
Maybe it's not the same. Maybe is it still the same? Like I went back and watched part of it. It was during the day when they came, but now it's at night. Is he still gonna rise it out of the water? Dad. Dad appeared in the sky and interrupted our conversation. This was my dad, alright, the god of war, Mars. He split the clouds and descended with a divine aura. Shelby was at a loss for words. In Dad's hand was his axe. He parted the seas like Moses did and instantly repaired Mom's temple. Moreover, he raised the temple from beneath the sea to the surface. A few seconds later... Poof, there it is. Mom's temple stood with heavenly radiance at the tip of the cape alongside Dad's temple.
これはなんだ
これぞ神の奇跡、軍神マーズの力だ。
Yeah, I think this is definitely different because Venus was there with him last time, and I don't remember this split screen.
そこの人間よ、よくぞ埋め立て計画を阻止し、我が愛するヴィーナスの神殿とマーズ神殿を守った。褒めてやるとしよう。
Shelby stammered, unable to process the events unfolding before him. My brain seemed to overload from the sight of Dad alone, but then... Mom descended and hugged Dad while he continued levitating in midair. Shelby's ability to process information was entirely overwhelmed.
プロジェクションマッピングではないか。投影オブジェクトがないし。
He said in the last one too.
もしや LED ライトがついたドローンで表現しているとか。いや、そんなわけないか。では。
Yes, those are their true god forms. That's how Mom and Dad usually look.
日常的に空に浮き海を割り神殿を直して海底を隆起させて地面を作るのか。本当に神はいたのか。
あら、もしかしてまだ信じられていなかったのかしら。
そうなのか。ならばなぜこの埋め立て計画を阻止した。我々のためだろう。
そうと言いますか。彼女が心配していたのでそのために。
エロースのためなの。愛の力ってわけね。
なるほど。我ら神のことは信じていなかったが、愛する妻を信じて行動をしたというわけか。なかなか小気味良い男ではないか。このマーズ、気に入ったぞ。
While saying that in a grandiose manner, Mom and Dad descended to the cape. They looked at Shelby and laughed.
では神殿の埋め立てを阻止した褒美に何でも願いを叶えてやろう。
Oh my goodness. When are we going to like see something different? Yeah, it's the exact same except it's nighttime. I don't understand.
願いですか。
この軍神マーズに叶えられる願いであればいくらでも聞いてやるぞ。
Dad puffed out his chest proudly. Shelby thought for a while, then responded with a shy smile.
私の願いはただ一つ。彼女と一生離れずにいることです。
Shelby, I think he wished for their blessing last time. I'll have to go double check. His bashful tone made me blush too. I hadn't expected him to express his feelings for me so openly. Being with Shelby for life was my wish too.
一生離れずか。
はい。一生彼女、私だけが独占したい。誰にも取られたくない。それが私の願いです。
Yeah, this is definitely not what he wished for the last time. I don't think it was such a selfish wish. Hope they felt off. Shelby's declaration left an uneasy feeling in me. I looked at him, trying to decipher his feelings, but he just gave me a gentle smile. Something was different, but I didn't know why.
どうした？
No, it's nothing. Is it just me, or did that feel ominous?
では神としてその願いを叶えてやろう。
Oh, really?
本当に刺激的で素敵な願いね。私ゾクゾクしちゃう。
She's getting shivers. Stimulating. I don't think it was that strange of a wish, I think. I kept telling myself that, but the sense of unease lingered. I think it was because Shelby used a tone I had never heard before, but the wish itself seemed normal. I asked for a wish. But the wish itself seemed normal. If I asked for a wish, it was the sort of prayer to the gods I would make. Uh-oh. That's what I thought. The next day when I went to the office, I realized the terrible way the wish had been granted. I was physically unable to be separated from Shelby now. What happened?
では、打ち合わせに出かけてくる。1時間後には戻るから、そのつもりで頼んだ。
Yes, take care. Ah! As I was seeing Shelby off to his meeting, I went to sit down by my desk when a mysterious force pulled me towards him.
リネット
You have some string of fate attached to your wrist that won't let you go now. Shelby caught me as I was launched toward him. Even he was surprised at what just happened. What was that?
いや、それは私の方が聞きたいんだが、今飛ばなかったか？
Did you just fly? I think I did. I thought I had heard the sound before it happened. It was more like I was pulled towards him by some sort of force. It definitely wasn't something natural. A sinking feeling washed over me as I let go of Shelby. Shelby, can you stand right there?
Oh.
To try to verify my suspicions, I told Shelby not to move from where he was, and I took 2 steps back. But right as we were about 5 meters apart, I was suddenly pulled towards him. Ah. I was yanked towards Shelby by a mysterious force yet again. Why? I was being drawn to Shelby as if I were a magnet.
もう一度検証するか。
His voice acting is so cute. He's confused. Yeah. They animated this. Is so funny. We both started to inch away from each other and even had Shelby be the one that moved to test the conditions. But the results remained the same. If I went any further than 5 meters from Shelby, I got thrown to Shelby. Why?
これは、いつからなんだ？ 確か昨晩は、いや、一緒に寝ているからわからないな。今日も一緒に車で出社しているしな。運転席と助手席との距離は5メートルの範囲内だから検証できないと。着替えている時も一緒だったか。
Yes, we made breakfast together. When I was putting on my makeup, you were shaving, Shelby.
つまり明確にお前と5メートル以上離れていたと分かるのはいつだ？少なくともイーライ氏と業務提携の件を話し合っていた時は別々に行動していたはずだな。つまり一昨日までは普通だったはずだ。昨日岬に行く前に食事をしたカフェでも平気だったと思うが。
The cape, then that means this is Dad's fault.
つまりお前の父親軍神マーズの力ということか。
Yes, I'm sure he made it this way to grant your wish, Shelby. I could only think of how that moment went down. When Dad offered to grant a wish, Shelby's wish was to be with me for life. And Dad must have interpreted that was literally wanting to be with me physically forever. I can't believe him. Dad has been a god for eons, but the way he grants wishes is always so sloppy. I have to call Dad. I took up my smartphone and tried to contact Dad, but then Shelby grabbed my hand.
いや、今のままでいい。
I'm surprised he would say that. What do you mean?
お前が半径5メートル以内にいるようになっているのだろう。その方がいい。
Oh, really? Why is that? But there's no way you can work like this.
打ち合わせには秘書として同行してもらえばいい。ダメか。
He looked at me with pleading eyes. He was absolutely serious about wanting to keep things as they were. The meeting is coming up soon, so maybe we can try to solve this problem later. Alright, I'll accompany you to today's meeting, but you have to talk about this later.
ああ、わかった。
That's funny, they're just physically connected. Shelby gave me a satisfied smile as we held hands getting onto the elevator. For the whole day, I was in attendance with Shelby at all of his meetings. In the sunset, we were still inseparable. I mean, there's benefits, I guess, right? Upon returning home, Shelby and I took a bath together. This was tiring. I was happy to be with Shelby, but this was mentally exhausting. In the past, I'd often accompanied him to meetings as his secretary, but if I forgot about it for a moment and got further than 5 meters apart, I would get lost to him in front of the other clients. I was always on high alert, and Sherry and I never strayed too far from him. Shelby, don't you find this a bit inconvenient? Maybe we should ask Dad too.
いや、このままでいい。
No. To my surprise, Shelby seemed completely at ease with our unusual circumstance. Whenever I tried to bring up the issue with Dad, Shelby would stop me. It was as though this bizarre predicament was a dream come true for him. As for me, I harbored doubts. I'm not so sure about this. Shelby and I were inseparable, quite literally. The circumstances forced us to do everything together, even sharing baths. Indeed, it was an entirely inconvenient situation. But I couldn't help but consider how there must be times when Shelby would want to shower alone. However, our situation wouldn't permit it. Shelby, perhaps we should talk about this. Do you ever feel the need for solitude?
いや、今のところ一人で過ごしたいタイミングが来るとは思えないな。
Really, but if you want to go shopping or do something...
私が付き合えば問題はないだろう。
Oh, if she ever wants to go. I think there are many problems with that.
問題ない。
Goodness. His voice got low and deep. Shelby leaned in close to me, whispering something before enveloping me in a tight hug. The wetness of his skin made us feel inseparable, as if we were glued together. But 5 meters is far too limiting. I'll need to convince Dad to increase that to 10 at least. Caught up in my thoughts, I almost missed the long sigh that escaped Shelby. Maybe almost missed
実
it.
はずっとこうなるのが夢だったんだ。
Huh?
なんだ、意外か？
Surprised is putting it mildly. Once he'd been the prestige man, a man perfectly content with his solitude, unwed because he felt no need to marry. His life revolved around his work, or so he'd claimed before we got married. The thought of him wanting to stay attached like this seemed inconceivable. As I grappled with this revelation, Shelby's murmuring brought me back.
以前、お前がイーライ・オマールに付きまとわれていたことがあっただろう。
Yes, I remember.
実はあの時、お前を取られるんじゃないかとずっと危惧していたんだ。
That remind me. Really?
当然だろう。あの男は私よりもやり手だ。地位もあるし余裕もある。顔もいいとなれば焦って当然だ。
I'm glad we did this after that ending. Can you imagine doing Omar's ending after this? That would break my heart. But you know you can trust me, right? See? That would break my heart. Oh my goodness. Can't trust you. I mean, it's Shelby's fault, but still.
もちろん信用していたつもりだ。お前なら平気だと信じていた。だから一応耐えられたんだ。だがその傍らで私はずっとあの男を警戒していた。いや、警戒していたのはあの男だけではない。
So possessive.
この世にいるすべての男に対して私は警戒していた。お前は魅力的すぎるからな。
Shelby planted a kiss on the nape of my neck, whispering the words into my skin. His deep, raspy voice took on a slightly different tone, revealing a hidden desire for dominance.
いずれ私を捨て別の男のもとへ行くんじゃないかと。そうした不安には常に襲われていた。だからお前とは離れたくない。常に見える範囲にいてほしいと願ってしまったんだ。こんな臆病さが自分にあったとはな。私自身そんなことを考えるようになるとは思ってもいなかった。だが一度考え始めたら止まらなくなった。お前がいつもそばにいてくれたらどれだけいいだろうとな。だからお前の父親に願いを聞かれた時そう願ったんだ。お前と常に言いたいと。
Did Dad realize all of this, granting his wish in such a unique way? Being a god, he must have understood Shelby's desires, leading to our current predicament.
これまでは一人で生きていられるとずっと思っていた。だがもうお前なしでは生きていけない。だからこの奇跡は間違ってなどいない。こうしているのが今の私の幸せなんだ。頼む、このままでいさせてくれ。
Oh my goodness, the whispers in my ear. A bittersweet kind of happiness swelled within him, spicy and potent. He was convinced that this was the only right way. Shelby's embrace from behind was firm, his teeth grazing my ear as if marking me as his own. Shelby.
リネット、愛している。
He's giving me shivers now.
お前も愛してくれるだろう。
His voice carried a note of fear. He voiced this plea like a prayer, terrified I might leave. I wanted to fulfill his wish as well. As a former deity, I felt that was my duty. Of course, I love you, Shelby. I spun around to kiss him, threading my fingers through his with reassurance. Okay, let's keep it this way. We'll always be together, Shelby.
ああ、これからはずっと 一緒だ。
A deep guttural laugh rumbled from Shelby as I snuggled comfortably into his arms. He seemed to be filled with joy.
リネット。リネット。
His longing for me, his urge to monopolize me, smoldering in his increasingly intense kisses. It was as if he aimed to demonstrate that he could never tire of our daily togetherness.
必ずお前を幸せにすると約束する。だからこのままでいさせてくれ。
He was resorting to every possible tactic to win my agreement. Although he had previously confessed his constant fear of losing me, there was no need for it. I had no intention of leaving him. He clung to me so tightly, we almost fused into one, but fear still flickered in his eyes. The inner workings of people's minds are invisible. He feared our hearts might drift apart, so he didn't want me out of his presence. In a peculiar twist of fate set by the gods, Shelby, a non-believer, clung to this miracle. But as long as it brought him peace, I felt it was okay. That's why I wanted to be with him. I embraced all of him, holding his hand and sharing a kiss. I wished that our bond would grow so profound it would erase his fear. We vowed to stay together forever. Spicy end. Yeah, I'm glad we're ending with that and not watching Homard after this, because I struggled with Homards, and after reading this, I don't think I could have. I'd have been like, you know what, I'm done. I can't read this anymore. Can't do this to Shelby. We just promised him we wouldn't. Anyway, I think that's all of it, right? Sweet and spicy end, I did already. Not in this recording, and then sweet end, spicy end, bad spicy end. Okay, yeah, we're done. It's, oh my goodness, it's like an hour and 40 minutes, and I haven't even tacked on the other video to this yet. Anyway, and it's 2 o'clock, so I can either stay up till 4 or I can post it tomorrow night. I say tomorrow night, but because we're going to be doing D&D, it's Saturday. I'm going to have to apologize and say that this is not getting posted the same day I recorded it because 4 a.m. is really late, and I've done it before, but I have to get up and prepare for D&D because it's my game. If it was not my game, I wouldn't care, but so there's stuff I gotta do in the morning. But as always, if you enjoyed, drop a like down below and or subscribe. Shelby's bonus episodes will be next, and well, next, I say next, but probably not the next recording. I have so many games going on now that it's just overwhelming. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.